Greetings, demons, and welcome to a Fortnite discussion video. We've done a few of these in the last few weeks, and, I think it's pretty clear that we're going back to normal with this channel, but, yeah, I wanted to talk about the new, or it was new when I originally started writing this, PVE mode / PvP mode, the Impossible Escape. Now, I've already done a gameplay commentary video about this where I actually played through the PvE. In fact, that's where the gameplay is coming from because, unfortunately, the mode has already left the game, and I'll get more into the extent of that towards the end of the video. But I just wanted to kind of discuss whether I think that PvE specifically could be the future of not just Battle Royale in general, but specifically Fortnite. And I think it's an interesting conversation to have, especially when Save the World, which is a exclusively PvE mode, was completely discontinued by Epic. So I just want to first just go over what exactly the difference between the PvE mode and the PvP mode actually was, because a lot of people didn't seem to grasp it, and a lot of people don't like these modes, and I can understand that. I will get into that as well later. But basically, the PvE aspect of the Impossible Escape was basically, you can't be harmed by players. There's still a number of players in the match, but the only thing that can actually kill you is a mixture of things like fall damage, NPCs, and mobs, or, things like wolves, things like raptors, that kind of thing. And it's a much calmer experience compared to the PvP mode. You have free helicopters to escape with, there's more parts around the map, there's more chests, there's more of basically everything there is just more of on the map than there is in the PvP mode. And personally, I think the PvE mode is definitely a better showcase of what this kind of mini-game LTM can be compared to the PvP. And I can't help but think that the vast majority of people that are, annoyed with this mode only played the PvP and didn't even attempt the PvE just because they thought they would be all the same. And I completely understand that. I did the opposite way around, and I actually ended up really enjoying the PvE, not so much the PvP. So the PvP, basically, it's the same experience, but with one helicopter to escape on, fewer total parts around the map, fewer chest spawns, stuff like that. And on top of that, as well as the regular mobs that are in the map currently in this season, there was also the Mist Monsters, which are obviously from Save the World and have featured in, Fortnite mares. There was also apparently the Shadow Operatives, the Ghosts, which are interesting enough. I think that's a cool thing to also bring in. They act very differently to the Mist Monsters. So, yeah, fair play to Epic for introducing multiple enemy types into the PvP. But this did make it way, way harder. The actual ability of players is very important, and in this mode, though it is technically a squad mode, you can't go in with a squad. If you and 3 other friends, making a total of a full squad, actually go into a match, you don't get to play with each other initially. You will be in the same match, and you'll be able to meet each other and team up, but that's the point. You have to actively find each other and team up, which for a lot of people isn't fun. If you're playing on your own, this isn't much of an issue. You can choose to team up with somebody if you find them, or you can just go on your merry way, do it solo. It's reasonable that you will be able to actually succeed on your own, as long as you are able to do the minor challenges, like things like kill raptors, to actually get the parts to in order to, fix the helicopter and escape. But it's very important to think about that a squad mode should allow for squads to actually work together from the start. And I think that is probably the biggest issue, especially when, every other LTM that's a squad mode, you're with your squad from the start, or you're on your own if you are on your own and don't fill. You can even fill with this mode, and yet it does nothing. You technically, have people that you're teamed with from the start, but you're not going to know who they even are if you have fill on. So it's a bit redundant, and personally, during my PvE game, my one main PvE game, I did play more after that, but the one that I did on video, I finished with another person, and we didn't even team up. And fair enough, that's the PvE, we couldn't attack each other or anything, so we just both escaped. But when teaming up is so non-essential that multiple people can get on one helicopter and escape without being a team, it becomes a bit of a questionable mechanic. Now, I'm just going to go out there and say I'm very happy that they decided that the Defender NPCs, the Henchmen, so to speak, were going to be two of the most underrepresented skins in the entire game, that being Kitbash, who has had a push recently, and I'm very happy about that, but it's a skin that I hold very dear to me. And, then Rustlord, which, I mean, cool. A lot of people like Rustlord. I personally prefer X-Lord or Star-Lord outfit, but, you can't, beggars can't be choosers, that sort of thing. I really liked that they actually had, similar aesthetics for the two henchmen that they used, and I had a lot of fun going up against groups of them, because they usually spawn in at least a group of 6, which is always a nice thing to, do with henchmen, just fighting them, distance with a bow or something like that, or an AR, and, that was a really fun mechanic to me. Something else that I kind of touched upon earlier that I really enjoyed was the fact that it does, in fact, between the two modes, because the PVE doesn't do this quite as well, they utilise all the mobs, as I'm going to call them. Basically, all the animals, all the NPC types, they're all used here, and it's a good showcase of how, decent the, the whole AI system actually is in Fortnite. You have the wolves, the hogs, the raptors, chickens, the standard NPCs, including the ones that fight you, like Raptor. You also have the henchmen, which is, as I said, Kitbash and Rustlord. You've got so much variety of different things to fight, Tower Guardians, stuff like that. It's such an interesting amalgamation, especially when you're getting the Mist Monsters and the Shadows. That is just, it's really smart play. You already have all these things in the game. It makes sense to utilise them for something like this, and it does make it feel a lot more alive. I almost wish that we had some areas that were constantly infested with mist monsters or haunted by shadows, It would just change up the world, change up the map just that bit, and honestly, I think that would be really cool. And then the final, major positive or just general thing that I want to talk about with this is that, as I said, there's helicopters. Now, they've been vaulted for a little while now. It's nice to see them back, and using all the different vehicles that are available right now is very beneficial to you in actually winning the game. You actually get cars pointed out to you by the games master, by the hunt master, and I think that's a really nice thing, that vehicles are so integral to this mode, especially when they're bringing back classics like the helicopter. I know it's not as classic as the golf cart or the shopping trolley or anything like that, but it's still a very cool thing to bring back these older vehicles for anything, because they are in creative, I know that, but it's nice to see something that isn't a creative LTM utilise them. And if we can see more of this in the future, for more of this sort of mode or for various other modes, I'll be very happy. And then a few of the mechanics that are lesser used were also utilised. The multi-slot pickups were used for the engine parts and stuff like that for the actual helicopter, which makes it really interesting when, if you don't want to actually fight the henchmen, you basically have to decide beforehand what 2 slots you want to keep before you pick up the part. And I just think that's a really cool mechanic. Having to choose only 2 slots, it basically means choosing an AR and some meds, or a shotgun and a bow or something like that. And it's a really good way to incentivize finding the best loot you can before actually utilizing the parts. And generally, I think that's a really cool mechanic. It is something that we have within the season normally, but it's so underutilized, mostly because of the fact that it's part of the Spire, that, it's something that I appreciate that they're now utilizing in a different way. And it's a way that we haven't even really seen from creative, which is always really appreciated. So overall, I think that the Impossible Escape was really fun, was really enjoyable, and honestly, I hope that it comes back. Now, as I said earlier, it has been removed, and not only has it been taken off of circulation from the actual LTM list, but according to Hypex on Twitter, it has completely been removed from the files, which could be a sign that it underperformed and that we're probably not going to see it. Some people that did actually enjoy the mode are hoping that this just means we're going to be getting more variations in the future, maybe next season or the season after, or potentially it could just be that because they have no plans to use it during this season, which have only got 2 weeks left, it's definitely possible, if a little unlikely, that they removed it completely because the mechanics would only work with our current map, and next season the map will change considerably. I think that's a bit far-fetched personally, but to each their own. If that's what you think, I mean, I'd love that. I'd love that a lot. But for now, it is kind of a sad sign that a lot of people have shown that they just don't like the mode on Twitter and on other platforms, and then on top of it, it's been removed completely from the game. I don't think it's a good sign for the future of this mode, and if Save the World has anything, going for it, it's that they've at least not removed it completely. They've stopped supporting it directly, but it is still there. So seeing something like this, it was kind of like when Battle Labs got removed a few updates back. It's kind of worrying that these very integral modes to a lot of content creators especially are being lost. And, I wish that I'd got more content out on Impossible Escape. I was actually going to record some of the PvP and I just, scheduling conflicts just came about. I couldn't manage it. But, yeah, it's something that I hope does come back in the future. I'm a huge fan of PvE experiences, co-op experiences as well, and I like to get XP, which you don't really get from creative modes, which I understand there's a lot of modes just like Impossible Escape that are in creative. I think there's actually one right now that's featured, but it's not the same to me, and I hope that more true Battle Royale PvE experiences do actually come out in the near future. But that's going to be everything for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like it, subscribe if you're new around here. I try and make videos as often as I can. Currently, it's a little bit scattered all over the place, but hopefully I should be getting back in the swing of things, and, somewhat daily uploads coming soon. But in any case, that's going to be it for this video, and yeah. Bye!
Lunar rainbow flag, happy pride, rabbit with facts. Streamer let's play, they them out like dinosaurs. FNAFN, troll, not the leader of a cult. Rabbit with sax, it's Lunar.